Hello there and welcome to this video in which we are going to be diagnosing and trying to solve some issues with this graphics card using this test system. This is just something I've got that's convenient. But anyway, this is an EVGA GeForce GTX660 blower style cooler, and if we flip it over and look at the back here, we can see the model/part number. It's a 2GB variant. And this has been sent to me by a friend because it was going in the bin. Now it has lots of artifacts when in use according to him, so we're going to give this thing a little try and have a see what it does for me. So I'm just going to drop it in this system. This consists of a quad-core Core 2 quad processor. It's a Intel Q6600. There's 8 gigs of DDR2 RAM and just some random 600 watt power supply. It's not an amazing system, but it'll do for testing and diagnosing things like this. And we just hook straight up to this monitor here via DVI connection that you can see at the back there. So let me drop the card in, we'll start the system up, get some drivers and things installed and see how it behaves and what the actual problem is, and try and find the cause and fix it. Okay, so I've dropped the card into the system and I'm just going to power it up. This system is running some version of Windows 7. We can see down there maybe that the fan is blowing. You can hear it anyway. So let's see if the system starts up okay. So far we haven't got any artifacts or visual problems. I actually received this card about 6 to 9 months ago now, and I've not yet done anything with it until now, because I actually lost it and then I just recently rediscovered it, which is why I'm now making this video on it. Okay, so we're slowly but surely loading into Windows. The hard drive in this system could really use a good defragment and cleaning up. As you can hear, it's rather loud as well. It's quite an old drive, but it will do for testing purposes. I'm not in a rush. There we go. There are no drivers currently installed. This board has got onboard Intel graphics, and then I've also got the card installed in the PCI slot. We're currently running off the graphics card, not the onboard video. Before doing this process and installing the graphics card, I went into safe mode and uninstalled all of the Intel, AMD and nVidia drivers that could have possibly been on here using display driver uninstaller. Okay, so Windows 7 is now loaded up. We can see the icons are popping up on the desktop. So far no visual artifacting or problems. Everything seems to be behaving okay. So perhaps it was something else on his system that was the problem, or it might have been a software issue. I will install the graphics drivers now, then we can test some more with the drivers installed. Okay, so now we're fully loaded into Windows. You can see the system specs here. This system is running Windows 7 Ultimate 64-bit. It has an Intel Core 2 Quad Q6600, as I previously mentioned, and 8GB of RAM. Windows has found the graphics card and is currently installing the drivers for the audio on the graphics card, because they have the HDMI audio output, and also the actual video drivers. I assume it will be fetching these from the internet, as I have previously cleared all the old drivers. We'll see how this goes. In the meantime, I'm going to go to the nVidia website and download the latest driver. Okay, so Windows has finished installing the driver. It's just installed a generic VGA graphics driver for the graphics card. Up here we can see in Device Manager it just comes up as standard VGA graphics adapter, so there's no actual drivers running. I went to the GeForce website, I filtered it manually, GeForce 600, 660, Windows 7 64. And I've got the latest version, which is 27th of March 2018. This is the 391.35 driver. So it's just about to finish downloading now here. So when that actually lets me run it, I will run and install that driver and we'll restart the system. In the meantime, whilst that driver installs, the card is still running, the fan is on, and at the back we can feel it slightly warm. But there's still no signs of artifacts or anything else, so far it's looking good. I'm just unpacking the driver at the moment, ready to install. So now I'm just going to install the latest graphics driver. I'm going to do a custom install and perform a clean install to give this all the best chances, and click next, and I'll just leave this to install, then restart the system. Alright, so the drivers are now all installed. I'm going to create a desktop shortcut, why not, and we will restart now, and then hopefully we'll run some games, benchmark, stress tests, and have a see if this thing will artifact when we run them. Now, he didn't really say when it artifacted, other than it just seemed to do it a lot. So apparently when you turned it on, it wouldn't take very long to start artifacting. I mean, it could be a temperature based thing. The card's not getting that hot idle, but once the drivers are installed, it will kick into 3D modes, actually use the GPU's power, and then that's going to generate more heat in turn. But we'll see how we go. I will most definitely be editing out these long loading times, so it's just me that has to sit. Whoa! Alrighty then. That's interesting. Well, we can still see the welcome here and the loading screen, but it appears to have now started having a disco on its own. The system's still loading up. Perhaps this is a temperature thing. Is the card hot? Not especially. The fan's still running pretty slow. It's not making much of any noise. All the noise is the other fans in the system. The hard drive activity light is on here, so it's still loading up. But how bizarre, that is some extreme artifacting. We've got fresh drivers installed. Perhaps rolling back to older drivers may help. Maybe there's an issue with some new drivers. But I thought that it would have been more outspoken if that was the case. Oh, it's getting faster flashing now, as it's still loading up. Right about now, I wish this system didn't take quite so long to start up, because having to watch this screen flashing, and oh, it's now flashing black as well. It's actually flashing a lot quicker and different colours in person, but the frame rate of the camera just can't pick that up. Okay, so it's been around 10 minutes that this has been flashing away to itself. It's still apparently loading up, according to the hard drive light and the noises. But nothing's actually... Oh, wait a moment. Speak too soon. No signal. Nothing was actually happening. Okay, we've now got a different kind of flashing and stuff going on. Still see the Windows at the bottom. Windows 7 Ultimate. Oh, it's flashed off again. I was just about to say I'm turning this off now, and I'm going to restart it in safe mode and roll the drivers back. It doesn't look like it's going to get any better, it's just flashing on and off. So I'm going to shut it down. I'm just going to kill the power to the power supply. Back on again. I'm going to keep pressing F8 and start up in safe mode. Okay, so I'm going to use safe mode with networking, because that will allow me to access the internet if I need to get drivers or anything. And we'll see how this goes. Okay, so we're up in safe mode now. We've got this message: Windows has recovered from an unexpected shutdown. Blue screen, apparently. I didn't actually see any blue screen problems. Okay. But anyway, safe mode's working perfectly fine. Let's have a look at device manager. Display adapters. We've got GTX660 installed and working here apparently. So I'm gonna use display driver uninstaller, DDU, and I'm going to uninstall the drivers, and then we will reinstall a different version that's older and see if we get the same problems then. I'm going to go back to quite an older one. See how far back I can go on the NVIDIA website. Okay, so I've researched the drivers on the NVIDIA website. The oldest version I can get is 388.13 from October 2017. So I'm going to go ahead and download that now, as it's doing at the bottom. And in the meantime, I've got Display Driver Uninstaller, or DDU, here. And I'm going to, well, it's pre-selected NVIDIA as the graphics driver. So I'm going to remove GeForce Experience Display Driver. Would you like to exit? No. So let's remove that. So I'm now going to do a clean and restart, I think, because then I can reinstall this driver manually. So let's clean and restart now. So it will then go through and remove the old drivers and restart the system automatically. Okay, so Windows has restarted and is back up. It booted up okay, no artifacting this time, but there's no drivers installed. As you can tell, because my icons are so gigantic on the screen and everything's such low resolution. So somewhere I imagine it will be installing drivers in the background, but I'm just going to go straight away to the downloads and install that older NVIDIA driver. So that will be the one with the newer timestamp, which is this one here. So I'm going to go ahead and run and install that. And then we'll restart again. I'm going to perform a clean install on this driver as well. Okay, that's the old driver now installed. I'm going to go ahead and restart now. And we'll let the computer restart and see if this fixes anything. Failing that, our next move may be to look at the card itself. Possible corruption of maybe the BIOS on it, because I have heard of that happening before, in which case you can reflash the BIOS on the card, but I'm hoping not to have to do that. Hopefully it will just be some sort of strange driver issue and this will resolve it, but I'm a bit doubtful at this point, but we'll see. Okay, so we've now started up with the old driver. You can see the system's running, the fan's still running on the card. The card's not really getting too hot, but the picture is doing that thing where it kind of flashes on and off every now and again. And more concerningly, we've got artifacts, and the artifacts actually seem to have gotten worse with this driver, which is kind of bizarre. So, as you can see, it's gone off again now. It'll come back on in a second, I no doubt. Yep, there we go. Now it's got, oh, we've just got a pure white screen, but we've got a mouse cursor. So it's doing some very, very strange things. So let me have a quick look about our next move. And I'll just leave this in the meantime to do its thing. We have got a moving mouse now, which is a good sign, I suppose. That's more than we had before. But I'm just going to leave this to do its thing, and I will look up about BIOS flash on the card, because it's not something I've done before, but it shouldn't be too hard to do. Okay, so I've now restarted and gone into safe mode with networking, so I can access the internet. Now, what you're going to want to do to reflash the BIOS, because that's what I'm going to try here, is go and download nVidia NVFLASH from the TechPowerUp website. You can get that via the Google. Just put NVFLASH in Google and it should take you here. Hit download and it'll give you a zip file. So download that and extract it. It's just in my downloads here. Contains a few things. This is a command line tool. And then you're also going to want to find the VGA Bios collection on TechPowerUp website. This is the BIOSes for graphics cards. So if something goes wrong or corrupts, then you can go and obtain a new BIOS from here and reflash your card using the NVFLASH tool. So you go onto the website, you use these refined searches, and you find your card. So mine is an nVidia, made by EVGA, a GTX660, and it has 2GB of memory or RAM on the card. So I've filled them in and it's narrowed down the results. And it's given me these 6 choices. Now, there's various different versions of the VGA 660, and you can notice here there's different core and memory clocks, and there's different versions and dates. So what we're going to look at is the version, which is the BIOS version, and we're going to read what's currently on the back of the card and get the same one. So to find that, if we look on the card down there, you can see that sticker. I'll put a picture of this over the top on the screen so you can see it. But that sticker there on mine is the BIOS. It says BIOS, and then you can see versions wrote on it. In fact, actually you can see it there. It says BIOS, and then it says 80.06.58.00.60. So we're going to look for that, or as close as we can possibly get. Now in my case, they have that exact BIOS version here available, which is EVGA GTX660 2GB Superclocked, and it's got the exact same BIOS version. So I'm going to go ahead and download that, save file. If we look at the details, it will show you some information about the card. So you can see that's our card there. Ensure that the BIOS version is definitely the same. And I'm going to get this BIOS file. It's a .rom, and I'm going to put this inside the NVFLASH folder, and I'm just going to call it bios.rom, and we'll just leave that there for now. So to install this, I'm going to do it under normal Windows conditions. I'm not going to do it within safe mode. So I'm going to now use the display driver uninstaller and remove GeForce Experience. Uninstall completed. Okay. Click no to the exit, and then I'm going to do a clean and restart. So that will restart us into Windows 7. Then from there, we're going to run the NVFLASH and apply the new BIOS, which I'll show you how to do that once the drivers have been removed. Because these problems are happening, in my case, in normal Windows 7, and I don't believe that you can install the new card BIOS from within safe mode. But I'm going to do it this way anyway. Since my card works without the drivers installed, and you don't want drivers running or installed when you are updating the BIOS, because things will go very wrong. It's important to not have the drivers running when you are flashing the BIOS, because otherwise things could go very wrong. So I'm just going to uninstall the drivers and restart, and then with the generic drivers installed, I'll show you what to do. Okay, so now the system's reloaded up again. We can see we've got standard VGA graphics adapter under the display adapters here. There's no drivers trying to install at the moment, that's all finished. The system's just running and sitting idle. So I've got NVFLASH folder open here. I've got the BIOS file that we downloaded for the card in it here. So first thing we're going to want to do is right click the standard VGA graphics adapter and disable it. So yes. You must restart your computer for the changes to take effect. Yeah, let's go yes. And the system will now restart. I'm also going to unplug the internet connectivity on the computer now, so it cannot connect to the internet and obtain new drivers or whatever else. Okay, so the PC's finished loading up again. Again, double check, no drivers or anything are being installed, but not on the internet because I've unplugged it. Standard VGA graphics adapter is disabled. Make sure it is disabled. So I'm going to go ahead to the folder where NVFLASH is stored. I'm also going to open the start menu. We're looking for CMD command prompt. Right click that and run as an administrator. So you can see at the top here, administrator CMD. So now we want to type in here CD, a space, double quotation mark, so that quote there. And you want to copy the location your NVFLASH is. So I'm going to paste that in here and press enter. So now we're C users owner downloads NVFLASH. So we're in the NVFLASH folder. Now because this system is running a 64-bit version of Windows, we're going to use NVFLASH 64. So type here NVFLASH 64. So that's what I'm doing. Press space, and then I called my ROM I downloaded, the BIOS, bios.rom. So then I'm going to type bios.rom, ROM and presenter. This then opens the nVidia firmware update utility, as you can see here. Checking for differences, GTX660, current, replace with, we can see they're both current and replace with. This shows you both of the versions side by side. We can see they are a perfect identical match, which is great. And it's asking us, do we want to update the firmware? Press Y to confirm or any other key to abort. So we're going to press Y for yes. So now it's continuing. It's wrote to the EEPROM. Storing and verifying the update. Update successful. Firmware has been updated from that version to that version. A reboot is required for the update to take effect. So now we can close this window down, close all this other stuff down, and we can restart the computer. And hopefully this will solve our artifacting problem, if this is what was causing it. There's a lot of other things that could be causing this problem, so this may well not fix it. But it's worth the try at this point. It's restarted, we're back up again. The card's not bricked or completely dead now, so that's a good thing, which means the flash should have gone successful. If we go back now to Device Manager, I'm going to re-enable the card, and then we will install the latest driver and see what happens, I guess. Okay, so in Device Manager, I'm going to enable the graphics card. So we've now got the standard VGA graphics adapter on and enabled again. I'm then going to go to the downloads, and I'm going to use the latest version of the nVidia driver, which is 391.35 that I downloaded earlier. I'm going to install this. I'm going to do it as a clean install, and we'll restart the system, and hopefully the card will work, but we'll have a see. Okay, the drivers have installed okay. Let's restart, and hopefully our issues will be solved, if this was the cause, that is. Still don't know as it was actually the BIOS on the card causing this problem, but they can get corrupt and cause strange issues sometimes. Starting Windows. Cross fingers that this works. If not, I'm not sure what the next step will be. I can't think of what else could be causing it, because it's definitely not a temperature thing. And normally if it is temperature based that causes artifacts, the card would still artifact without drivers installed, which is what's making me think it may be the BIOS. Well, the mouse cursor was there, but it's disappeared. Oh, we've now got Windows 7 Ultimate loading screen. No artifacting yet. It's looking good. If this card is working after this process, then my niece will be having her PC upgraded. She's currently running something like a GT720. So a GTX660 up from that for playing, well, she only plays like Minecraft and Roblox and stuff, but it would be a big upgrade. Oh, and unfortunately not, we've now got the artifacting again. God damn. Okay, well I thought that the BIOS had fixed it then, because it seemed to be getting further than it has been. We've now just got this like white and blue screen. No mouse cursor. The hard drive activity light's gone off. It's not even trying to load anymore. Well, I think that's where I'm going to leave this video, because I'm not sure what else to do with it at the moment. If you've got any suggestions, leave them down below in the comments section, and I might do a follow-up to this video. But thanks for watching. If you found this video somewhat helpful, please leave a like down below, and get subscribed for future random technology videos like this one. Thanks for watching.